And a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. And welcome to the quarterfinals of the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball State Championships. So glad to be with you today. My name is Josh Eldridge, coming to you from beautiful Newport, Oregon, and a great day for baseball today. 62 degrees and sunny from Newport, and about 4.5 hours later of a road trip for Henley High School. Hornets are in Newport for the second time this season. These teams played once before earlier this season, a game which came down to the wire, but ultimately the Cubs bested the Hornets on March 27th in a 10-9 victory. That was the Hornets' last loss before they decided to rip off 13 straight wins and earn a Skyline Conference League title, the number 5 ranking in the state of Oregon, and winning their first-round playoff matchup. For Newport, it was much of the same for them. Their win against Henley, after that losing a pair, but then going on a really long win streak of their own before seeing it end on May 5th against Philomath. This put the Cubs against the wall in their league standings, but eventually were able to beat Philomath in back-to-back games and then sweep Cascade at the end of the season to earn their first Oregon West Conference title since 2019. And most recently, earlier the week, they defeated Gladstone 4-0 in the opening round, which is the first time Newport has made it out of the opening round of the playoffs since 2018. And so now they are looking to make it one step further and eliminate the Hornets in this one. We got the introduction of both teams here coming down the line first with Henley. I'm sure we'll be introduced to Newport next. What we're going to do here is step aside. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will introduce you to the Kyle's Lawn Care starting lineups. But the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball State Championships continue next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
And we welcome you back to our continuing coverage of the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinals here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Hornets are on the coast today in beautiful Newport, Oregon, as the Cubs get ready to take the field. On the mound for them is going to be Ethan Bruns. We'll take a look at him a little bit later on, but first I want to introduce you to the starting lineups for the visitors, the Kyle's Lawn Care starting lineups for the Henley Hornets. Leading off and pitching is Mark Carpenter. Connor Shively bats second at shortstop, followed by Jacoby Tacchini, the catcher, hitting third. Max Price, the second baseman, hits cleanup, followed by the designated hitter, Bo Pyle. Derek Cox, the third baseman, hits sixth, followed by Corbin Hamilton at third base, hitting seventh. Carson Sims is batting eighth in right field, and Ryan Douglas rounds out the Henley order. He gets the start in center. Like I said, Mark Carpenter on the mound for Henley. He goes up against a Newport lineup that goes like this. Leading off at shortstop is Colin Fierro, batting second to pitcher Ethan Bruns. Bowden Langoliers is at third base, batting third. Rory Barber in left field is batting fourth. Tyler Matson, the catcher, hits fifth. Ryder Hockema, the first baseman, hitting sixth. Curtis Oliveira is the designated hitter, batting seventh. Matt Colton is the second baseman. He bats eighth, and Chris Jacobson is the center fielder for the Cubs. He bats ninth. So we are nearing our starting point today. Newport in their very light blue tops, white numbers on their back with red trim and red caps, white pants for Newport. And for Henley, of course, in their traditional navy blue road uniforms and gray pants. Henley written across their chest in navy blue with yellow trim and white numbers across their back and navy blue caps with the yellow H. Looks like we are just about ready to get started today from Newport. Again, my name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for being with us today. So we are ready for first pitch. The right-hander Bruns offers up the first pitch to Carpenter, and it's called a strike. We are underway. First pitch at 4:28. A little bit ahead of schedule today, but no one's mad at that. It's an 0-1 count to the Skyline Conference Player of the Year, Mark Carpenter. And the delivery underway. Carpenter lifts one in the air, shallow center field. Should be playable for the shortstop, Fierro. Backpedaling, he makes the catch behind second base, and that'll be the first out in the first inning. Around the diamond for Newport, like we said, Matson's behind the dish. Langoliers at third, Fierro at short. Colton is at second with Hockema at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Barber, Jacobson, and Bailey. And we are ready for Connor Shively to step in now for the Hornets. Shively, an all-conference selection for the Skyline this year. Bats from the left side, and he'll take a look at ball one as it misses wide. Well, Shively earned his all-conference recognition after leading the Hornets in hitting, batting .484 coming into play today. Shively bounces one foul down the third base line. The count is even now, and a ball and a strike. Again, after Shively in the order is Jacoby Tacchini. Right-hander back on the mound, ready to deliver for Newport. We'll give you a look at the numbers on Bruns here in just a moment. The delivery to Shively rolled out towards second. Up with it is Colton. He makes an easy throw to first. That is in time for the second out. Look at the right-hander this season for Newport. Bruns, as making his 8th start of the season, comes into play today carrying a 7-1 record, 52 1/3 innings pitched, and an ERA of 2.27 for Bruns as he fires in the first pitch against Jacoby Tacchini. Rolled out towards third. Langoliers plays it on a hop. Strong throw across the diamond is in time, and the Hornets are down in order in the top of the first inning, and the Cubs a chance to respond next. This is the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting ready for the bottom of the first inning. So Henley Hornets and the Newport Cubs are tied, still scoreless. So we get ready to take a look at Colin Fierro, then Ethan Bruns and Bowden Langoliers for Newport. But first, we'll take a look at the man on the hill for Henley, and that would be the senior Mark Carpenter. The right-hander is making his 10th start of the season as a record of 9-0. And in 56 and a third innings pitched, an ERA of .74. Just a remarkable season for Carpenter. And it's going to be up to him to try and continue this season for the Hornets. And here in the quarterfinals, it doesn't get any easier after this. But Carpenter in the win back on Tuesday against LeGrand that got Henley here. The 12-2 win over the Tigers. And Carpenter got the win in that game. Pitched 3 innings, didn't give up a hit or a run. He only walked 2 against 7 strikeouts. Now, Henley pulled him after 59 pitches. That way he could be eligible to throw today against Newport. And, of course, here he is getting the start. Now we'll take a look at the offensive players for Newport. Leading off, the shortstop, Colin Fierro. Looking at the season for him so far, the right-hander bats .468. And actually leads the team in doubles at the top of the order. He's got 12 two-baggers this season. And the first pitch from Carpenter is a curveball lifted out towards center field. Ryan Douglas able to make the catch, put that one away. 1 pitch and 1 gone in the bottom of the first. Around the diamond for Henley, Jacoby Dakini is catching. Derek Cox plays third. Connor Shively plays short. Max Price is at second with Corbin Hamilton at first. The outfield from left to right is Chase Barrett, Ryan Douglas, and Carson Sims. Ethan Bruns fouls one back to start his at-bat. The count is 0-1. Bruns batting .322 this season for Newport. As a squad, the Cubs bat .388. Carpenter ready to offer up the 0-1 pitch. Here it comes. That one missed a bit outside. The count is even now, and a ball and a strike. Bowden Langoliers is on deck. I talked a little bit about how Henley got here with a 12-2 win against LeGrand back on Tuesday. That pitch is called a strike to Bruns to count 1-2. Of course, Newport had to win to get here, too. In their opening round matchup, it was a 4-0 shutout win against Gladstone. 1-2 pitch. Checks his swing. Carpenter tried to get him with the outside breaking ball, but Bruns held up in time. The count is 2-2. Hits this one down off the right side. Looks out of play, foul. Count remains 2-2. Artificial turf infield here for Newport with the natural grass in the outfield. So there's a little bit of a lip behind first base, something to just keep track of. I suppose it's down the third baseline too, but Carpenter with the 2-2 tried to get Bruns to chase again, but once more his counterpart, pitcher for Newport, takes, and the count runs full. Seems as though this may be a battle all day long between these two guys. Carpenter looking for the put-away pitch. Takini offers the sign. Now here comes Carpenter. Bounces it to the plate, and a one-out walk delivered to Ethan Bruns will bring up Bowden Langoliers with 1 on and 1 out. Langoliers batting .481 this season, is the team leader in batting average if you go by the classic 2 at-bats per game rule. He is the team leader, not only in that metric, but also home runs. Has 4 home runs this season for Newport. Carpenter loops in a breaking ball, gets ahead in the count 0-1. And like I said, Henley softball also in action today on mybasin.com. They're playing Astoria. And in their quarterfinal, looks like they are tied, still scoreless against the Fishermen. We'll try to keep you updated on Henley softball a little bit later on today, too. Hoping they can advance on to the semifinal and make it back to the state championship game after losing each of the last 2 seasons. Count is 0-2 to Bowden Langoliers. Just one away in the inning and a runner aboard at first is Ethan Bruns. Waiting on deck for Newport is Rory Barber. Right-hander Carpenter comes set and delivers. The two-seamer misses wide, and the count is 1-2. Other quarterfinals going on around the state. Looks like Marist getting started against Malala. That's the 1 versus 8 seed. The winner here will play the winner there. On the other side of the bracket, well, we'll clue you in after the 2-strike pitch on the way from Carpenter. Another curveball froze him up. Down looking is Langoliers for the second out in the first inning. So now Rory Barber, it's ready to step in, the cleanup hitter for Newport. Barber this season batting .440. Leads the team in triples with 6 this season. Bats here with a runner on first, and again 2 out. The lefty awaits the first pitch from Carpenter, and here it is. It's taken in the turf for ball 1. Takini, a nice job of keeping it in front of him behind the plate. So we were talking about the other side of the bracket. Number 3 seed Scappoose plays Philomath. That game doesn't start for another half hour or so. And same for the number 2 seed Junction City playing Pendleton today. That game also doesn't start till 5. But the winners of each of those 2 games will play in the semifinal, scheduled for June 3rd, which is Tuesday of next week. The count is 1-0 to Rory Barber. Carpenter ready for the pitch. Here it comes. That one's over the heart of the plate, called a strike, and the count is even. Tyler Matson is on deck for Newport. Carpenter set once more. Good lead for Bruns off of first, and the 1-1 is fouled off. The count of ball and 2 strikes. Choking up on the bat a little bit is Barber, trying to protect in a 2-strike count. Carpenter has some room to work, though. We'll see where he goes. Kicks, delivers, breaking pitch, misses inside, and the count runs even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on first in the bottom of the first inning. Still scoreless in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal. Takini setting up outside in the 2-2. Carpenter comes set, pauses, now delivers. The 2-seamer hugs the inside corner and sets down Barber. Newport without a base hit, but they still leave one stranded. We'll go to the top of the second, still scoreless, here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Getting ready for the top of the second inning, still scoreless at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal between the Hornets and the Newport Cubs. Stepping in now for Henley is Max Price. He'll take a look at a curveball called a strike on the outer third. The count is 0-1. It'll be Max Price, Bo Pyle, and Derek Cox to hit for the Hornets this inning. That's 4, 5, and 6 in their order. The 0-1 to Price is hit in the air, center field. Going back is Jacobson. Now settles under it to make the catch for the first down. Bo Pyle getting ready to step in now for Henley. Bo bats .347 this year for the Hornets and has nearly as many extra base hits as he does singles this year. 15 singles, 11 extra base hits. That's doubles and triples only. No home runs on the season yet for Bo. But things could change in a hurry. Here he takes a strike, 0-1. Pyle's been playing well as of late after hitting a bit of a snag in the middle of the season. As he bounces one out to short here. Playing on two hops is Fierro. Throw to first is in time for the second out. And even though Bo is retired, I still want to highlight the point that after going hitless in 4 consecutive ball games, Bo is now on an 11-game hitting streak and hoping to add to it a little bit later on in the game today. Now 0-1, of course, as Derek Cox gets ready to settle in. What a moment for Derek as a freshman here, getting the start at third in this quarterfinal game. Takes a swing and a miss at the first offering, 0-1. Derek, as I've said, it took him about 10 games to get called up from JV to play varsity. It was an injury replacement, but has been very good at this level. Here he bounces one over to third. Langoliers makes the routine play onto first, and that will end the inning. Once again, the Hornets down in order. The bottom of the second inning underway next as we are scoreless in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Set for the bottom of the second inning between the Henley Hornets and the Newport Cubs and the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal. 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. Leading off this inning for Newport, Tyler Matson. Then he'll be followed by Ryder Hakama. Then Curtis Oliveira. That's 5, 6, 7 in the Newport order due up this half inning. Mark Carpenter into his second inning of his start, ready to offer up the first pitch. And it's hit right back up the middle. Shively lays out for it, but it winds up in center field. And that's how we get our first base hit of the ball game. Ground ball up the middle for Tyler Matson in the bottom of the second inning. Ryder Hakama getting ready to bat now for Newport. And it looks like we got a courtesy runner in for Tyler Matson as well. We'll try to remember that the senior, Quentin Layton, is on the base paths in for Tyler Matson. Quentin Layton over there on first. Still to bat, though, is Ryder Hakama. And taking a look at the season stats for him so far, batting .278 on the season. What's remarkable is .278 is a pretty darn good batting average, and that's actually the second lowest on the team. Just a really good hitting Newport ball club. Newport Well, here showing bunt. Missing the bunt. Looks like nearly trying to steal second was Layton. Then sort of caught in no man's land. Takini tried to backdoor him at first, but he was back safely. I believe that pitch was called a ball. The count 1-0. Newport led the Oregon West Conference in runs scored, scoring 227 runs to date while allowing the second fewest 100 runs allowed this season. As a matter of fact, they are the only offense in the state to have scored more runs than Henley this season.
And we're the only team with 21 victories in the regular season.
Count is 2-0 to Hakama. Carpenter set. Here's the pitch. Fisted foul. The count is 2-1. Newport finished with the 4th ranking in the OSAA computer rankings, only in front of them was number 1 Marist. Junction City was 2, and 3 is Scappoose. All those teams still alive, of course, in the postseason. It looks like Hakama was showing bunt, couldn't pull it back in time, and the count now 2-2. Nobody out, runner aboard at first for Newport. And on deck is Curtis Oliveira. Carpenter looks in and delivers the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Scott Hakama to chase the high heat. And that'll be the first out in the bottom of the second inning. Oliveira stepping in now for Newport. Oliveira batting .523 to start the season, and if you look at their stat sheet, his name is at the top of the list, although having not had the minimum at-bat total, 2 at-bats per game to qualify for league leading status. I would say he's not leading the team in hitting, but in 44 at-bats, the young man has 23 hits, and that is certainly something. Here's the pitch to Oliveira. Curveball, and that found the zone. Nice curveball there from Carpenter. Goes with the classic fastball, curveball, changeup. He'll mix in the slider every now and then, but doesn't rely on it too much. The 0-1 from Carpenter. There's the high fastball that's taken by Hakama. The count is 1-1. Oliveira at the plate. And still over at first is Quentin Layton, after he was the courtesy runner for Tyler Matson, who led off the inning with a single. The 1-1 pitch. Bounced out towards second. Price charging. Goes to Shively for one, but the throw winds up in left field. Taking a big turnaround second, but ending up staying there was Layton. He dove into second, unable to get back up in time to run to third. And an error is going to allow the runners to be safe. Now one in scoring position with one out. Matt Colton getting ready to step in now for Newport. Colton batting .365 this season. 16 runs batted in. Not near the team lead, but now with a runner in scoring position, those are the numbers you start to look for as Newport tries to score the first run of the ball game in this quarterfinal. Corners in for Henley, infield at double play depth, and timeout is called at the plate for Colton. Chris Jacobson is on deck for Newport, then the lineup goes back to the top after that. Here's the pitch from Carpenter. Found the two-seamer in the zone. The count is 0-1. Colton does lead the team in one statistical category this season. He's been hit by a pitch the most times this year, 6 times for the Cubs. Carpenter misses with an outside curveball. The count is even. Like I said, corners playing in on the cut of the grass, middle infield, trying to turn 2 on a ground ball with 1 out and 2 on. Carpenter takes his time after coming set, now delivers. Tries to find the outside again, but misses. The count is 2-1. He's trying to find that outside corner against the right-handers. It hasn't been there in this at-bat, but Carpenter does have 3 strikeouts already this game. And this is where it helps Henley to have a big arm like his in big spots like this. Runner in scoring position and 1 out in the quarterfinals. Carpenter loops in the inside breaking pitch. He's been able to find that one a bit so far today. And it evens the count at 2. Decent lead off of first for Oliveira. No one's holding him. The shortstop Shively trying to keep Layton honest at second. Here's the pitch from Carpenter. Got him swinging. Goes with a high fastball once more and sets down Colden. Second out in the second inning, and here's Chris Jacobson. Jacobson batting .353 this season for Newport. 20 RBI on the season for the number 9 hitter in the order. Trying to add one more and get the first run across. Carpenter set. Pitch to Jacobson is an outside fastball called a strike. Takini had trouble handling it for a moment, but as the ball trickles down the first base side, Layton will stay put at second. So the count is 0-1. Colin Fierro is on deck, top of the order next for Newport. Carpenter, he's going to try to save it for the bottom of the third if he can get out of this inning here. Here comes the 0-1 from Mark. Curve ball, ground ball towards second. Max Price plays it on a hop, throw to Hamilton in time, and that will retire the side. 1 base hit and 1 error for the Hornets. Newport leaves 2 stranded. No runs come across, though. We'll go to the top of the third scoreless. The OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Corbin Hamilton looking to get the rally started for the Hornets in the top of the third inning. We are still scoreless here from Newport as the Hornets visiting the Cubs in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union for a baseball quarterfinal. Hamilton down in the count 0-1, takes a pitch off the inside. The count is even. It's Hamilton, Sims, and Douglas due up this half, the bottom third of the Henley order. Hamilton trying to get things starting, batting .315 this season, takes a curveball the other way, foul, count of 1-2. 27 of Hamilton's 28 hits this season have been singles, but at this point, that's all you need. It's just a base runner for Henley. Still looking for their first base runner of the ball game. Here's the pitch, 0-2. Hamilton lifts another one into foul territory, and that should be out of play off the roof of the field house down here. Count still 1-2. Right-hander Bruns ready to go once more. Here's the delivery to Hamilton. It'll bounce to the plate. The count is 2-2. Our vantage point here from Frank Wade Memorial Park is facing directly east away from the Pacific Ocean. The 2-2, here it comes. Hamilton, line drive towards short, through into left field. And there you go. That's that leadoff single Hamilton was looking for. Collects it here in the third, and the Hornets have their first base runner. Now it's up to the young Carson Sims to try to follow it up with a base hit of his own. Sims, the sophomore, batting .426 this season. And Carson didn't make the all-conference teams, although he was an honorable mention, and that's only because he didn't play in enough games to qualify for all-league consideration. Only a couple games into the league season, Carson went down with a wrist injury. Here he shows bunt, pulls back, I believe in time. The count is 1-0. But for a guy who, as a freshman, hardly saw any playing time, to come in as a sophomore and really solidify his role on this team, it's been remarkable to watch him play this season. Keeps his hands low, bat resting on his back shoulder. Here he shows bunt once more, shoves it down the first base side. The pitcher Bruns is up with it. He'll throw on to first, but Hamilton advances to second. That's exactly the way you drew it up for Henley. And now Ryan Douglas bats with a runner in scoring position and one out. Douglas in the 9-hole for Henley has been maybe one of the most productive players all year, batting .318 for Henley with 17 runs batted in and 26 runs scored. Douglas first pitch swinging, hits one foul. The count is 0-1. After Douglas in the Henley order, back to the top with Mark Carpenter. Hamilton on second, a small lead. The second baseman, Colton, holding him. Now he returns home. Now it's Fierro trying to keep Hamilton honest at second as Bruns delivers home to Douglas. Misses high on the breaking pitch. The count is even, a ball and a strike. One out, runner at second. Still scoreless in this quarterfinal matchup between Newport and Henley. Second time these teams have met this year. The first went the way of the Cubs in a one-run decision back in March. It was only the fourth game of the year for Henley. Here's a fly ball, left center field. The center fielder Jacobson gets on his horse, makes a catch near the fence. Hamilton is tagging to third. The throw in takes Langoliers off the bag, and Hamilton is in safe. Now 90 feet away from scoring with two outs. And they're going to say that Hamilton didn't tag at second, so they go back and throw him out. Must be a mental mistake there for Henley, and that will end the inning. To the bottom of the third we go, scoreless on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Go to the bottom of the third inning, still scoreless in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal here on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Like I said, here we're scoreless. Want to give you an update on what's going on in Astoria for Henley softball. It looks like the Hornets are trailing the Fishermen in the bottom of the fourth inning. The score is 3-0 Astoria. We'll keep you posted on that one as we continue on today. As it looks like it'll be the top of the Cubs order due up in the third. Colin Fierro, Ethan Bruns, and Bowden Langoliers. Second time through the order. We'll see how the Cubs adjust to what Carpenter is bringing them today. Here's the first pitch. It's a curveball that's called a ball upstairs, 1-0. It's an 0-for-1 day for Fierro so far. Flew out to center field to start the ball game for Newport. Carpenter from the windup. Here's the 1-0. Fastball finds the outer third. The count is 1-1. It's a beautiful park here at Frank Wade Memorial Park. The trees over the outfield fence. The bleachers here are very cool. Kind of got a little background about that before first pitch today. Is a bouncing ball down the third base side is foul. 1-2. Beautiful folding blue chairs here at Newport High School, reminiscent of just any real stadium chair. When was told these are actually from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Very cool for the old home of the Minnesota Twins. Line drive the other way. Sims runs in and makes the catch. First out in the third inning. A nice play by Sims in right. But really gives the stadium feel. The folding chairs, the multiple rows. And we're kind of tucked behind the park, behind an elementary school. Ballpark's kind of hard to find if you don't know where to look for it, but that kind of makes the secluded feeling unique. Ground ball to third on the first pitch. Derek Cox comes up with a heater, throw on to first, and that will retire Bruns. Tucked behind Sam Case Elementary School here in Newport. Driving by the elementary school, I noticed that their mascot was also the Cubs. And I thought, well, if the elementary school is the Cubs, shouldn't the high school then be the Bears, right? They're all grown up, but I guess Newport is still the Cubs after all. Here's the pitch on the way to Langoliers. That one misses outside. The count is 1-0. Langoliers struck out his first time through. 0 for 1 today. 2 quick outs in this inning for Newport. They're looking to get something started. The pitch from Carpenter swung through. The count is even, a ball and a strike. After Langoliers, in the order for Newport is Rory Barber. Pitch on the way from Carpenter. A curveball foul. The count is 1-2. Carpenter trying to set the Cubs down in order. A 2-strike pitch. Here it comes. Curveball misses high. Might have been the slider from Carpenter. Something with a little bit of movement. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the third inning. Still scoreless in this quarterfinal matchup. Carpenter ready to come again with another pitch. Here it is. Checks his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. And there go the Cubs in order in the third. To the top of the fourth we go next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
And we're getting set for the top of the fourth inning in a scoreless ball game between the Henley Hornets and the Newport Cubs. For Henley so far, quick check of the line score, no runs on 1 hit, 1 error, no runners left. For Newport, no runs on a hit, no errors, and 3 runners left. Mark Carpenter starts us off in the fourth inning with a ground ball to short, and the throw on to first is in time. 1 pitch and 1 gone in the Henley fourth. This game has been moving along pretty quickly. Already in the top of the fourth inning. And I think we're 38 minutes into the game. As Connor Shively gets ready to step in. Shively is 0 for 1 today with a ground out in the first inning. Takes a look at a curveball, just missed outside. That was a good pitch there from Bruns. But again, just off the outside, Shively gets ahead in the count. Here's the 1-0. Shively pops one up, foul out of play, and into someone's backyard. Count is 1-1. After Shively, Jacoby Tacchini waits on deck for Henley. Bruns from the windup with the 1-1. Line drive right back at him, and he caught it. That's a great catch by Ethan Bruns. Looked down, and he found the ball in his glove, and that is 2 away in the 4th inning. Jacoby Tacchini settling in now for Henley. Tacchini is 0 for 1 today. He flew out to center field in the 1st inning. Pardon me, he grounded out in the 1st inning as he takes a pitch low here, the count 1-0. Tacchini, the freshman all-conference catcher for the Hornets, batting .438 this season. 36 RBI for the freshman, led our conference. The 1-0 on the way to Jacoby. Takes that pitch low, and the count is 2-0. One of the reasons why Tacchini has been so good as a freshman this year, he spent the summer with the Klamath Falls Falcons American Legion team. And as a guy coming out of 8th grade, had a pretty good season with them, too. The 2-0 taken for a strike around the knees, count 2-1. Just found out the schedule this year for the Falcons. They've decided not to play AAA Legion ball. They're going down to Single A and playing in a conference with a couple Medford teams and Grants Pass. No trips to Roseburg or Eugene, at least for league play this year for the Falcons. Tacchini chops one over to third. Langoliers is up with it, has time to set his feet and throw and retire the side in order. To the bottom of the 4th we go, and we remain scoreless in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Bottom of the 4th inning, and still looking for our first run between the Newport Cubs and the Henley Hornets in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal. One of 4 games going on around the state at the 4A classification today. Marist playing Malala. That game started at the same time as us. We'll try our best to track down a score for you in a little while. Scappoose is playing Philomath today, and Junction City plays Pendleton. Those games have just begun at their respective host sites. Carpenter ready to go. First delivery to Rory Barber. Barber checks his swing and swings and misses. The count is 0-1. This time a bunt laid down. Carpenter tried to backhand it, but booted it. Hit off the heel of his glove. Carpenter trying to make a play that probably could have better been made by the third baseman, but instead now a runner is on first with nobody out. And so here's Tyler Madsen. The only guy for either team to have a base hit today, now with nobody out and a runner aboard at first. Here's the delivery. A curveball finds the zone. Count is 0-1. Carpenter comes set again. Middle infield trying to turn 2 for Henley. Pitch on the way to Matson. That one's going to miss outside. Takini. Great job of keeping it in front of him, keeping the runner at first. Been very impressed with his play behind the plate all year for Henley, and it continues here in the postseason. Matson bats .380 this season and is tied for the team lead in RBI at 26. Here's the pitch. Takes a pitch high. The count is 2-1. Ryder Hockma is on deck for Newport. Takini delivers the sign to Carpenter, who comes set. Here it is. Line drive the other way. That one is over the head of Sims and will bounce up against the wall. Barber rounding second, headed for third. They're going to keep him there. Winding up at second is Tyler Matson, and 2 men in scoring position and nobody out for the Cubs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Ryder Hockma is batting now for Newport with 2 in scoring position. Like I said, nobody out for Hockma, batting .278 this season, 17 RBI for him. He's looking to add a couple more as the Henley infield comes in. They're going to try to cut down the runner on a ground ball in the infield. Carpenter set. Here comes the pitch. Looked at for a strike. Might have been a touch outside, but Carpenter gets away with one there, ahead in the count 0-1. On deck after Hockma is Curtis Oliveira. Like I said, Newport, one of the best offenses in the classification at the state level this year, looking to add their first run in the quarterfinals. The pitch is over the heart of the plate for strike 2. Carpenter going with the 2-seam fastball on that one. He can go just about anywhere now in an 0-2. Especially when you can trust a guy like Takini to, more often than not, keep a pitch in the turf in front of him. The 0-2 from Carpenter is a curveball, and that got him looking. Froze him up with the bender on the outside, and that is the first out in the 4th inning. Curtis Oliveira batting now for Newport. 0 for 1 today, although he did reach base on an error in the 2nd inning as Coach Craig Connor comes out of the Henley dugout to have a conversation with Mark Carpenter. Gives us an opportunity now to recognize some pretty important sponsors today, and that's the Henley Booster Club for supporting our broadcast on mybasin.com. When we get to the playoffs, the OSAA requires us to pay a rights fee to be able to broadcast these games to you for free wherever you are in the state or the world, I suppose. We're coming to you for free, and that is in big thanks to the Henley Booster Club. Want to give a shout out to them. And the conference on the mound is complete. It'll be Curtis Oliveira batting with 1 away and 2 in scoring position. Rory Barber stands at third. Tyler Matson at second. Scoreless for now in the quarterfinals, the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball State Championships. First pitch on the way to Oliveira is a fastball and 2-seamer. Grab the middle part of the plate. Count is 0-1 to Oliveira. Like I said, he reached on an error back in the 2nd inning, but was ultimately left stranded at first. Henley infield still playing in. And the pitch on the way is fouled straight back. The count is 0-2. Well, you'll notice Max Price playing a little bit more to the right than he normally would. And that's because when the infield is in, Carpenter's momentum is taking him to the right side of the field anyway. And so he's able to cover a little bit of that middle gap. And Shively playing more straight away over at short. So the Hornets have got a game plan here with the infield in. But right now the count is 0-2 to Oliveira. Carpenter set with it. Here it comes. That one's the curveball. Again, tried to go outside with it, but that one dipped below the zone. A good location with 2 strikes, but a better take from Oliveira. Stays alive in this at-bat. The count is 1-2. Big at-bat here. Carpenter takes a deep breath before coming set. And the pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. Carpenter goes to the same location and this time gets the outcome he wants. And now it's going to need to be a base hit for Matt Colton. Colton 0 for 1 today. Struck out in the second inning. Henley infield returns to their normal position. Middle infield playing fairly deep on the cut of the outfield grass. First pitch from Carpenter is the slider that misses outside. Count is 1-0 to Matt Colton. Bats .365 this season for the Cubs, has 16 runs batted in.
Come on, Matt. Right here, Matt.
Carpenter set once more. Pitch underway. That one misses on the outside. The count is now 2-0. They give a quick check of the pitch count for Mark Carpenter. This will be pitch number 58 coming up. You wonder if Henley's going to start worrying about that pitch count a little bit. Tough to do, though, in a big spot like this. 2-0. And the offering, a curveball, and that's looped in for a strike. 2-1. Like I said, they pulled Carpenter at this point, 59 pitches back on Tuesday in hopes of trying to keep him ready for this game. It looks like, though, they're going to let him fly. Probably the right decision here in the quarterfinal. The 2-1. That one is in the turf, and Takini once again keeps it in front of him. The count is 3-1. First base is open with Chris Jacobson on deck. So Carpenter, although you never want to walk a batter, a walk isn't the end of the world here for Henley. So Carpenter can still attack the way he wants to here in a 3-1 count. Here it comes, the 3-1. Curveball, that's a strike. And again, he is so confident in that breaking ball to throw it in a 3-ball count, now to run the count full. 3-2, 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the fourth inning in this quarterfinal. Newport looking to get the first run across. Carpenter looking to stifle him once more in the fourth. Timeout is called before the full count pitch. Matt Colton settles back in. The right-handed batter looks down Carpenter. Here's the pitch. It is looked at for ball 4. The upstairs fastball missed. And now it'll be up to Chris Jacobson with the bases loaded. Still 2 out. Jacobson hits .353 for the Cubs this year. 20 runs batted in. Puts him at third most on the team. And before this at-bat, Jacoby Takini going out to chat with Mark Carpenter. The hitter, Jacobson, going down to chat with the third base coach. These are the spots you look back on at the end of a game and say, well, a different outcome here decides it. Who's going to win this battle? Carpenter back on the hill on the rubber. Now he comes set for the first pitch to Chris Jacobson. Here it is. Swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. The inside fastball in on the hands of Jacobson. On deck for Newport, if the inning continues, is Colin Fierro. Outfield for Henley, a couple of steps in. Carpenter from the windup now. Here's the 0-1. A check swing is called a ball. Missed outside. Maybe a little bit high. Count is even to Chris Jacobson, who's 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to end the second inning. And now has the biggest at-bat of the game so far. Bases loaded, 2 away, bottom of the fourth, still scoreless. The 1-1. Curveball hit the other way. Look out into the Newport dugout. It looks like everyone is okay. All right, the count is 1-2. Carpenter trying to find a put-away pitch, has a little bit of room to work ahead in the count, 1-2. Newport crowd trying to rouse their team to complete this rally. Here comes Carpenter with the 1-2. It is hit the other way, but foul, and so we'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Both sets of fans know what's on the line here and probably pretty evenly split. A lot of Hornets fans in attendance today making the 4.5-hour trek from Klamath Falls. They want to go home happy, and it starts with an out here from Carpenter. The 1-2 is a curveball hit in the air, left field. Looks playable for Barrett. Coming in, he will make the catch and end the inning. The Cubs load the bases, but can't do anything with it in the 4th inning. We'll go to the 5th. We remain scoreless in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Playoffs on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
It's the middle of the Henley order, due up in the top of the 5th inning of a scoreless ball game on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The count 1-1 to Max Price, followed by Bo Pyle and Derek Cox in the Henley order. Henley escaping a jam in the bottom half of the 4th, and now looking to hopefully collect a run here in the 5th, but it won't come off the bat of Max Price. A ground out toward second will be the first out in the 5th inning. And here comes Bo Pyle now for the Hornets. Like I said earlier, on a pretty significant hitting streak after hitting a snag in the middle of the season. Pyle has been very good the last about 10 or so games for Henley. But today he's 0 for 1. He grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd inning. Pitch to Pyle. Takes a look at a breaking pitch off the outside of the plate, but called a strike. The count is 0-1. Pyle on the season hits .347 and has 28 RBIs. That is 4th most on the team. Right now, his job is to start a rally. And right now, he's down to the count 0-2 after he takes a fastball on the inside part of the plate and around the knees. And now, Pyle is going to have to battle. Here's the pitch. Pyle hits a line drive to left field. That one is over the head of the left fielder, Barber. That'll get down for extra bases. Who else do you expect to come up with an extra base hit besides Bo Pyle? That has been his bread and butter all season long. That is his 11th double of the year, and it comes with 1 out in the 5th inning of this quarterfinal matchup. Derek Cox is 0 for 1 today as the freshman gets ready to settle in from the right side. Derek this year batting .325 with 12 RBIs. Here's the pitch. Curveball. That's going to be taken upstairs. 1-0. After Derek in the Henley order, it's Corbin Hamilton. Pitch taken here. The count is 1-1. Derek was 0 for 3 in the game against LeGrand in the opening round of the playoffs. Looking to collect his first hit in the postseason here. Rolls one down the third base line, but it's foul. The count is now 1-2. Before that game without a hit against LeGrand earlier in the week, Derek had a 5-game hitting streak. And again, has been hitting well, hitting .325. Now has to adjust, though, in a 2-strike count. Chokes up a little bit, trying to drive in a go-ahead run at in the fifth. Derek will swing through the curveball and get set down on strikes for the second out in the 5th inning. And here comes Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton singled back in the 3rd and was out trying to tag from 2nd to 3rd on a fly ball. Wound up not tagging properly and was thrown out on the base pads. Looking to right that wrong here with a 2-out base hit and a runner in scoring position. The pitch to Hamilton is looked at for a ball, missed below the knees. After Hamilton, it's Carson Sims who waits on deck for Henley. Ethan Bruns throwing well so far for Newport. Line drive the other way, foul. That was Bruns' 42nd pitch in the 5th inning. He has been economical out there on the mound, to say the least, producing outs in the first couple of pitches of almost every at-bat so far. Here he comes set with the 1-1. The delivery is hit in the air towards the right side. Out of play, foul. Count is 1-2. Hamilton having to have a good 2-strike approach here. Corbin trying to avoid the strikeout. Wide batting stance. Keeps his hands back. Here's the pitch. A curveball, line drive, left center field. That'll get down. They're waving Pyle in to score, and he will. Throw into second is not in time, and an RBI double for Hamilton gives Henley a 1-0 lead. Big time hit there for Corbin Hamilton. That is his 2nd double of the season and couldn't come in a bigger spot. Henley leads 1-0 in the quarterfinal, and Carson Sims going to try to add to it. Keep the train right on moving with Hamilton still out there in scoring position. First pitch from Bruns. Here it comes. First pitch swinging for Sims. Bouncing ball towards 3rd. Langoliers has a little bit of trouble coming up with it. Now they've got Hamilton caught in a rundown, and he will get out on the base paths once more. I think he had the right idea, but unfortunately that is where the inning will end. But not before Henley scores a run on 2 base hits. The RBI double from Hamilton got the run across. We'll be back after this in the bottom of the 5th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
1-0 Henley lead in the bottom of the 5th inning of the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. Newport looking to respond here in the 5th inning. They've got Colin Fierro, Ethan Bruns, and Bowden Langoliers to do the job. That's the top of their order. Carpenter back out there for the 5th inning of his start. Really wiggled out of a jam in the 4th when the bases were loaded. Pitch from Carpenter misses. The count 1-0. And as Carpenter was able to wiggle out of that jam in the 4th, the Hornets responded the only way that you really should after a situation like that, and that's by scoring a run in the top half of the 5th to take the lead. The 1-0 on the way to Fierro. He'll check his swing and take a pitch outside. The count is 2-0. Newport, though, no stranger to scoring a ton of runs. I mean, you just have to look to a couple of games ago, the league finale against Cascade. This team can put up runs because they scored 23 against Cascade back on May 15th. Here's the 2-0. That pitch is called a strike. Newport also scored 18 runs against North Marion. I mean, they scored 10 against Henley earlier in the year. We know this offense can get going. It's up to Carpenter to try to keep them put. The 2-1 popped up center field. Sort of in the no man's land. Someone's going to have to call the rest of them off. It'll be the center fielder, Douglas, who makes the catch for the first out. Fierro now 0 for 3 after that flyout, his 3rd flyout of the ball game. This will bring up Ethan Bruns. Starting pitcher for Newport, gave up that run in the last inning, trying to get the rally started for his team now in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch to him misses in. The count is 1-0. Bruns so far today walked in the 1st and grounded out in the 3rd. For the season, Bruns is batting .322. The 1-0 is hit in the air and again shallow center field. Should be playable once more for Douglas. He'll come in a few steps and make the catch for the second out. 2 up and 2 down for the Cubs in the 5th. And this will bring up the third baseman, Bowden Langoliers. Langoliers 0 for 2 today, a strikeout in the 1st and 3rd innings. First pitch from Carpenter is taken downstairs. The count is 1-0. Langoliers leads the team in hitting, .481. Doesn't strike out a ton, though. Only 8 strikeouts. Carpenter's got him twice today. Takes a pitch upstairs. The count is 2-0. While a guy like Langoliers might not strike out a ton himself, Carpenter's a guy who strikes out a ton of batters. Not only the Skyline Conference Player of the Year, was also the Skyline Conference Pitcher of the Year. Carpenter has struck out 99 batters this season. He's walked 12. Right now, though, the count is 3-0 to Langoliers, trying to avoid that 13th. Pitch is going to miss, and so there you go, a free pass with 2 outs. And the Henley infield looks like they might have a quick chat. Carpenter didn't miss that 3-0 pitch by much. There's some groans from the Henley supporters in the stands tonight, but all in all, I think our umpire has been fairly consistent today, which is the least you can ask for. He's given a little bit on the inside, a little bit on the outside, but if you do that all game, no one really has anything to complain about, and I think he's been consistent today. Rory Barber getting ready to step in for Newport with a runner on 1st and 2 away. First pitch to Barber, a curveball, finds the outside corner, the count 0-1. Barber is 0 for 2 today. He struck out in the 1st, reached on an error in the 4th. Tying run on base for the Cubs and a pretty good lead for Langoliers off 1st. Carpenter comes set, now delivers. Pitch misses high. Count is even, 1-1. Barber bats .440 this season for Newport. 24 RBI is tied for second most on the team. The 1-1. That one's in the dirt. Thought about taking off, did Langoliers, but again, the backstop to Keeney keeps him there. Count 2-1. I think I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen a ball get to the backstop this season with Takini behind the plate. Carpenter set with the 2-1 to Barber. The pitch. Two-seam fastball finds the outside. It's 2-2 to Rory Barber. On deck, if the inning continues for Newport, is Tyler Matson. Big gap on the right side of the infield with a left-handed hitter at the plate. But Carpenter ready to go with the 2-2. Curveball swung on and missed. Drop third strike. Tag applied, and that will end the inning. To the top half of the sixth we go. Henley leads Newport 1-0 in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Josh Eldridge here, glad to be back with you at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal where Henley leads 1-0. For Henley so far today, 1 run on 3 hits. They've committed 2 errors and left 1 runner on base. For Newport today, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and they have left 7 runners on base today. Leading things off for the Hornets in the top of the 6th is Ryan Douglas. The 1-0 pitch misses low. The count is now 2-0. To the number 9 hitter for the Hornets, it is 9-1-2 for Henley in the 6th inning. After Douglas, it's Carpenter. Douglas is 0 for 1 today, flew out to end the 3rd inning. Here he takes a strike below the knees. The count is 2-1. On its way to Douglas. Curveball, nice pitch from Bruns, finds the zone. The count is 2-2. Douglas, part of the All-Skyline Conference first team, sends a high pop-up right in front of the mound. Bruns will leave the hill to collect that one for the first out. Mark Carpenter due up now for Henley. Carpenter 0 for 2 today. He flew out in the 1st, grounded out in the 4th. Has done well on the mound today for Henley. We'll take a quick check at the pitching line score for Carpenter here in just a moment. We'll do the same for Bruns as well as the first pitch on the way. Carpenter will take that one inside. It's 1-0. Carpenter on the hill today has pitched 5 innings, given up 2 hits, walked 3, and struck out 8. Ethan Bruns today, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run it's earned, and 1 strikeout. Carpenter takes a pitch outside. Not a fan of that call, but has to settle back in, and a 1-1 count. After Carpenter, it's Connor Shively. Here's the 1-1. That one also will miss outside, maybe a bit upstairs as well. The count is 2 balls and a strike to Carpenter. Hornets scored their 1 run in the 5th inning when a double from Bo Pyle was followed up by a double from Corbin Hamilton. Here Carpenter might have one of his own, sends a line drive to left field. That'll get down. He takes a big turnaround first and digs for 2. He is in there standing. And Carpenter with a 1-out double in the 6th. For Mark, that is his 14th double on the season, leading the team in that number. And here's Connor Shively. Now, Shively is 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a fly out. The team leader in batting average and hits and singles. Looking to come up here. Pitch to Shively is weakly rolled foul down the first base side. The count is 0-1. Don't know of many players who are all-conference recipients at 3 separate positions. Shively was a designated hitter as a freshman and an all-conference player as a utility player that year. As a sophomore last year, he was the catcher, was first-team all-conference there, and an all-state catcher as well. See rates for the 0-1, lofts it up in the air, foul. The count is 0-2. This year, Shively an all-conference shortstop. And Sean Teeters, the head coach of the Hornets, by the way, Skyline Conference Coach of the Year in his first season as well, told me he doesn't think he's ever seen a player be all-conference at 3 different positions by the time they're just a junior. Who knows what position Shively's going to play next year? The 0-2, taken outside. If I know Shively, he wants to catch. He loves to catch. But when the team needed him at short this year, he stepped up and has clearly done so in a big way, earning those all-conference honors, as I stated. Here he's in the count 1-2, takes a pitch in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Matson. It rolls out to the mound, and Carpenter stays put at third. Count is 2-2. After Shively in the order, it's Jacoby Takini. Back on the rubber is Bruns. Here he comes set. The shortstop, Fierro, trying to keep him honest, and the pitch in is a ball. Count is full. 3-2, 1 out. Runner at second is Carpenter. Henley leads 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal. Winner here advances to play Marist or Malala, depending on the outcome of that game. Shively rolls one down the first baseline, kicks off the bag and into right field. They're waving Carpenter around. He will score. Henley leads 2-0. Bouncing ball down the first base line. The first baseman, Hakama, was in position to play it, and the ball bounced off of the base and away from the defensive player and into right field. And that'll score Henley's second run of the ball game on an RBI single from Shively. Here comes Jacoby Takini, still with 1 away in the inning. Takini 0 for 2 today. And here's the pitch. Shively is on the move. It's a curveball called for a strike. The throw down. Shively is safe. Put him 24 for 24 on stolen base attempts this season, and he is in scoring position for the Skyline Conference leader in RBI. Takini behind in the count 0-1. Takini is the guy who took Shively's spot as catcher, as I was talking about a little while ago, and it seems like everyone's okay with it now, as here's a pitch in the turf, blocked by the catcher, Matson. He's done a fine job behind the plate today. Count is 1-1. Takini not only leads the team in RBI, he is third on the team in hitting, batting .438 this season. The 1-1, that's hit the other way to right field. Moving under it is the right fielder, Bailey. The catch is made. Shively is going to stay put at second. A nice throw into the infield from Bailey kept Shively there. And there are 2 outs in the 6th inning for Max Price. Price 0 for 2 today, flew out in the 2nd, grounded out in the 5th. So far this season for Price, he is batting .291. Pitch to Price, a curveball, misses away. Count 1-0. Max missed the middle portion of the season due to an injury, and when he came back, found himself batting cleanup, something he doesn't typically do, but he's done a fine job at it so far this year. Takes a strike on the inside. The count is even, a ball and a strike. Not the typical cleanup hitter. Doesn't always have a lot of power. Price, all but one of his hits this season have been singles, but he gets on base, he's fast. And that's why Henley likes him in this spot. So the 1-1 misses low. The count is 2-1. Price has scored 19 runs, just getting on base in this cleanup spot. The 2-1, here it is. Ground ball towards short, playable for Fierro. Comes up with it, has to make a strong throw to beat Price, but he does, and that will end the inning. But 2 base hits for Henley scores a run, and they'll carry a 2-0 lead to the bottom of the 6th inning. The OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
It starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Bottom of the 6th inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Henley leads Newport 2-0. Tyler Madsen, Ryder Hockema, and Curtis Oliveira due up in this half for Newport. Carpenter into the 6th inning of his start. Curveball misses high. The count is 1-0. Henley added another run in the top half of the 6th. Carpenter looking to keep things where they are. But Madsen is 2 for 2 today. He's seen Carpenter well. The 1-0 on its way. And a foul ball back into the glove of Tacchini will be called a strike. 1-1. Madsen is the only Newport batter to have a base hit today against Carpenter. All the other base runners for the Cubs have been walks or errors. Carpenter fires in the curveball, finds the outer third. The count 1-2. It was a single in the second for Madsen and a double in the fourth. The 1-2 from Carpenter. Curveball, and that one missed outside. The count is 2-2. Madsen batting .380 this year for Newport. Goes with the no batting gloves look. Here's the 2-2. Bouncing ball towards third. Cox is up with it. Strong throw to Hamilton is in time, and that'll be the out. First out in the 6th inning. And we've got Quentin Layton, the senior, standing 5'9", getting ready to step in, hitting in the place of Ryder Hockema. Unsure what that'll do defensively for Newport. We'll get there when we get there, though. First, want to take a look at the statistical output this season for Layton. After the first pitch from Carpenter, it is fouled straight back. The count is 0-1. Layton this season batting .346 in 27 at-bats. He's got 9 base hits. All of them have been singles this season so far. It's the 0-1 on the way from Carpenter. Curveball swung on and missed 0-2. Has seen this program, as I stated earlier, get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs for, I believe, 5 consecutive seasons. Here in the quarterfinal, making it their furthest they've made it in quite some time. Here's the 0-2. Looked at for a ball, 1-2. And still in this ball game. In the bottom of the 6th inning, they only trail by 2. Henley's certainly not out of the woods yet. Used to playing teams up by a handful and sometimes not even making it to the 6th inning at all. Here's the 1-2. That one misses high, 2-2. And the Hornets, like I said, pretty well dominated the Skyline Conference. For the 3rd consecutive season, were unbeaten in the Skyline Conference. Perfect 16-0 They did their best to schedule some good non-league competition, though. The 2-2 is a curveball that misses in. The count 3-2. Some of that good competition that you schedule in the preseason is coming here to the Oregon Coast Invitational and playing teams like Newport and Staten and Gladstone. They were 1-2. 1-2 in their trip to Newport earlier this year. They beat Gladstone but lost to Staten and Newport earlier in March. Curveball lifted towards the first base side. Hamilton gets underneath it, puts it away for the out. Not only did Henley play in the Oregon Coast Invitational, they also played a doubleheader against number 2 Junction City back earlier this month where they split. And they played a game against Cascade Christian, who earned the number 2 seed in the 3A classification and beat them earlier in the season. So they've had a little bit of competition here towards the tail end. But now they've got to finish. Here's the pitch, called a strike to Oliveira. Count is 0-1. Oliveira is 0 for 2 today. Here's the 0-1. Hit in the air towards the shortstop. Shively going back. He'll be called off by the center fielder, Douglas, who makes the running catch to end the inning. Cubs down in order in the 6th. To the 7th we go, and Henley leads Newport 2-0 at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball State Playoffs on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Henley with a 2-0 lead in the top of the 7th inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinals here on 104.3 and 960 Sports. It'll be Bo Pyle, Derek Cox, and Corbin Hamilton due up this half. That is 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Pitch on the way. Pyle lofts one in foul territory behind home plate. And that one nearly caught a dog. But I think everyone's okay. Just took a high bounce off the sidewalk. The count is 0-1. All right, the count 0-1 to Bo, who is 1 for 2 today. He grounded out in the 2nd, but he doubled and scored in the 5th. Pitch on the way from Brunn, still out there for Newport. The 0-1 is a curveball that found the zone. The count is 0-2. Pyle once more displeased with that outside breaking pitch called a strike. And now has to settle back in. He has to protect in a 2-strike count. Here's the 0-2. Pyle does protect. Fights off the outside pitch that he hasn't liked to go after today. But making that adjustment there, we'll see what he looks like now again in an 0-2 count. Again, winner here advances to play either Malala or Marist. Going to try to find a score on that game potentially in the next couple minutes, but no promises. Pyle settles back in for the 0-2. The pitch. Hit the other way once more and again drifts foul. Count will remain 0-2 to Bo Pyle. Keeps his hands low and relaxed. The batter's box. Here's a pitch. That one will miss to Pyle. Count is 1-2. Well, we don't have a score update for Marist, but the latest we can find for the 2 versus 7 matchup, Junction City taking on Pendleton, In the middle of the fourth inning, Junction City leads Pendleton 3-1. Pyle rolls one out towards second. Up with it is the second baseman, Colton. Throw on to first is in time, and Pyle is retired to start the seventh inning. So it seems as though we have score updates coming in for Junction City. Still nothing yet, though, for Marist on my end. Apologies there. As Derek Cox gets ready to step in for the Hornets with one away in the top of the seventh inning. Derek is 0 for 2 today. He grounded out in the second and struck out in the fifth. Pitch on the way. Inside fastball called a strike. The count is 0-1 to Derek. After him in the order, it's Corbin Hamilton. Cox hitting .325 this year. The curveball taken for a strike on the outer third. Good location from Bruns. He's been finding that outside breaking pitch this inning. And he is ahead of the freshman Derek Cox, 0-2. Pitch on its way. And that is looked at for strike three. Down looking is Derek in the seventh. 2 away for Corbin Hamilton. That was pitch number 78 for Ethan Bruns so far. He still kept that pitch count down. Hamilton settling in now against Bruns. Here's the pitch. Misses low. The count is 1-0. Looking through my line score, I don't think Bruns has walked a batter today. He's done well. The 1-0. Pitch finds the zone, maybe a little bit low, maybe a little bit outside for Hamilton, but the count is even at 1. Check of the score while we have a moment. Henley trailing Astoria in the softball quarterfinals 6-0. Line drive back up the middle. Hamilton with a base hit. 2 away in the seventh. He gets on for Carson Sims. Hamilton now 3 for 3 today. Singled in the third, and just now he also added that RBI double in the fifth. He is having a great day here in the quarterfinal. This will bring up Carson Sims. 0 for 2. Grounded out in the third and reached on a fielder's choice in the fifth inning. Pitch to Sims, a curveball, will miss high. The count is 1-0. Sims missed the middle portion of the year. Kind of said that when he was ineligible for certain conference awards. But it hasn't been that long since his return. Pitch to Sims, misses inside. Made his official return to the batting order on May 14th, just 16 days ago, but in reality, that's only 5 games ago for Henley. They had to do without him for most of the league season. Right now, Sims is ahead in the count 2-0. Here he sends a ground ball foul down the third base side. The count is 2-1. In the opening round of the playoffs, Sims was 2 for 3, and he scored 2 runs and added an RBI. As I said, today he's 0 for 2, but trying to get on and extend the seventh inning. Here Sims is out in front of the breaking pitch, and the count is 2-2. Went after the hanging curveball, but was just out in front of it. Ryan Douglas is on deck for Henley if the inning continues. Bruns is set. Checks the runner at first, Hamilton. Hardly a lead to speak of as Sims rolls a ground ball past the diving glove of Fiera at short. And back-to-back 2-out singles in the seventh brings up Ryan Douglas. Douglas is 0 for 2 today. Flew out in the third, and he popped out in the sixth. Now bats with 2 on and 2 out, and his team leading 2-0 in the second round of the playoffs. Set is Bruns. And the pitch. Curveball looked at for a strike. Another hanging curveball that Henley looks at. Douglas behind in the count 0-1. This season for Douglas, 318 hitter in the 9-hole for Henley. Bouncing ball down the third base side. That winds up foul. Douglas behind at the count 0-2. Henley's had a good two-strike approach this inning. Both Corbin and Carson, who are standing at second and first respectively, were in two-strike counts when they got their base hits. Now it's up to Douglas to try to protect. Bruns trying to put him away. Here's the 0-2. It is popped up behind third, and that one just stays in play and is caught by Langoliers for the third out. Couple of base hits, doesn't amount to anything for Henley. They leave them both stranded, but they'll carry a 2-0 lead to the last of the seventh. Up next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place and then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Bottom of the seventh inning, and Henley leads Newport 2-0 in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinals. And before we get this bottom of the seventh inning started, want to once again thank the Henley Booster Club for allowing us to bring this broadcast to you for free today. Like I said, once you get to this level of the postseason, the OSAA wants the rights fees paid for this broadcast. So without them, we'd have to pass the cost along to you. But thanks to the Henley Booster Club, allowing us to have this broadcast to you totally for free today. First pitch to Matt Colton is looked at for a ball. Here's the second pitch from Carpenter. The count is even now, a ball and a strike to Colton. He's 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the second but walked in the fourth. And with Newport down 2-0, they're just looking for base runners, which have been few and far between against Carpenter the last few innings. Right now the count is 2-1. Here's the 2-1 again from Carpenter. Swung on and missed the count 2-2 to Matt Colton. On deck is Chris Jacobson, and then the top of the order for Newport with Colin Fierro in the hole. 2-2 pitch from Carpenter. Here it is. Looked at for strike three. Down looking for the first out in the seventh inning. Second strikeout of the day for Colton. And for Carpenter, I believe he's up into double digits. I'll confirm that here in just a moment. That was Carpenter's 10th strikeout of the day. Oh, pardon me, his 9th strikeout of the day, looking for 10. Jacobson will take a ball on the outside. The count is 1-0. Again, if Henley hangs on here, they will play either Marist or Malala in the next round. No score update yet from Eugene, but still trying to track it down. That pitch will also miss. I believe the count is 2-0. Carpenter trying to find the zone. The pitch. Curveball, that misses. Jacobson 0 for 2 today. He grounded out in the second, and he flew out in the fourth. Pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Carpenter gets one across there. Probably going to come back with a fastball. Here's the pitch. Take the look at for strike three. I had the count wrong there, but back-to-back strikeouts to begin the seventh for Carpenter. And there he is, 10 strikeouts now. And the last hope for Newport is their leadoff hitter, Colin Fierro. He's been the go-to guy this season for Newport. Batting .468, leads the team in hits. Second on the team in on-base percentage. That's what they need him to do here, is get on base. As that pitch misses outside, the count is 1-0. Fierro, 12 doubles this season. Couple of triples, couple of home runs, but a home run doesn't do much for you here when you're down by 2. Count is now 2-0 to Fierro. On deck, if the inning continues, is Ethan Bruns. He represents the tying run in the on-deck circle. But 2 away, the final out remaining before Henley tries to move on to the semifinal. But Fierro not going down easy, and a 3-0 count to Carpenter, or from Carpenter, rather. Fierro looking for his first trip to first base today. He's flown out all 3 of his previous at-bats. Right now, the count 3-0 to him. Here it is from Carpenter, and that one is in for a strike. The count is 3-1. Again, there's that outside corner that's been given to the pitchers today against the batters' will. The 3-1, a chopper to third. Cox plays it on a hop. He misplays it down the third base side. And a runner on first, tying run to the plate for Newport in the bottom of the 7th. Not over yet. That is the third Henley error today. And that's also going to trigger a mound visit for Coach Craig Connor. We'll try to take a quick check of the pitch count for Carpenter. That was 110, and so he is done. Unable to finish this complete game. We'll get a new pitcher for Henley, which could breathe some new life in for Newport. We'll be back, and we'll get the changes for you coming up in just a moment. This is the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Trying to get the last out of the ball game, Henley had to tab in a new arm. The right-hander Corbin Hamilton will come in relief of Mark Carpenter. Carpenter ran out of pitches. All 110 of them have been thrown in this game, so Hamilton comes in. Corbin on the season, making his 13th appearance and his 5th in relief. Corbin carries a 6-1 record, has 1 save on the season, and in 43 innings pitched, an ERA of 1.63. Hamilton actually picked up his one and only save of the season back on Tuesday when the Hornets closed out LeGrand. He's looking for his second here, and he only needs 1 out to do it, and that's Ethan Bruns at the plate. Bruns represents the tying run with a runner aboard at first in Colin Fierro. He reached on an error in the previous at-bat. By the way, other changes for Henley as Hamilton comes in to pitch. Ian Meyer replaces him at first. Mark Carpenter moves over to third, pushing Derek Cox to third. That moves Max Price out to center and Ryan Douglas over to left. And so there are your changes for Henley as Corbin Hamilton misses the zone. 1-0, the count to Ethan Bruns. Hamilton just looking for the final out of this game. Newport's going to make it difficult. The 1-0 to Bruns. Hit in the air, right field, playable for Sims. He gets underneath it, and the Hornets are on to the semifinal after a 2-0 win against the Newport Cubs here in Newport. The Hornets are moving on, and we'll be back to recap it all in just a moment. So stick with us for the postgame show on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. This is the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball State Championships.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home, I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Introducing Smith-Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith-Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith-Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith-Bates Marcom Solutions.
This one is final, and the Hornets are moving on after a 2-0 win over Newport in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinal. Henley scored 2 runs on 8 hits. They committed 3 errors, and they left 4 runners on base. Newport, they scored no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and they left 8 runners on base during the ballgame. The winning pitcher today was Mark Carpenter, who pitched 6 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. The loss today goes to Ethan Bruns, who pitched a complete game for Newport, and despite a great effort, gets hung with the loss. He gave up 8 hits, 2 runs, each of them earned, no walks. He struck out 2. The save today goes to Corbin Hamilton, who got the final out for Henley, did not give up any runs, hits, strikeouts. It was a fly ball to right field to end it, and Hamilton picks up his 2nd save of the season. The Pacific Power play of the day, and for me, I'm going to have to crown Corbin Hamilton with the Pacific Power play of the day today. With 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning, Corbin Hamilton sends an RBI double to left center field to score Henley's first run of the ball game. It wound up being all they needed, although Henley did add some insurance in the 6th in this 2-0 victory. A couple other notables for Henley. We'll give you the full line score on Corbin today, 3 for 3 with an RBI and that double. Mark Carpenter was 1 for 3 with a run scored. Connor Shively, 1 for 3 with an RBI. Let's see. Bo Pyle, 1 for 3 with the run scored. Add that double in the 6th inning. And Carson Sims was 2 for 2 in the contest. For Newport, we'll take a look at some notables for them. It was really just Madsen who got the offense going. He was 2 for 3 and collected both of Newport's hits for the game. Otherwise, everyone with a goose egg in the hit column for the Cubs. Their season is over. A remarkable season for Newport, though, making it as far as they have in at least the last 7 years to the second round of the playoffs. But unfortunately for them, their season ends here with an overall record of 22-5. The Hornets are moving on. They will play in the semifinal on Tuesday. Don't have a final score yet from Marist against Malala, the top-seeded Spartans taking on Malala today. Keep your eyes on OSAA.org to find out who the Hornets are playing, as likely it'll be Hornets looking for a revenge game against the Marist Catholic Spartans in the semifinals. You may remember a season ago when the Spartans eliminated Henley from the playoffs in extra innings. I'm sure the Hornets would love to return the favor in the semifinal, but enough with speculation. What we do know for now until Tuesday, Henley is moving on. They are winners in the quarterfinals, dispatching the Newport Cubs 2-0. Want to thank everybody who made today's broadcast possible. Want to first thank our head coach today, Sean Teeters, for the Henley Hornets. I met a gentleman in the Newport dugout, although there has been some shakeups with their head coaching situation. Didn't want to touch on that on the broadcast too much today, but I appreciate all the Newport coaches who have stuck around and continued the season with this young man, despite the controversy surrounding the situation with the head coach. So big thanks to everybody here at Newport, their principal, Raina Matson, for showing me where to be up here in the beautiful press box at wonderful Frank Wade Memorial Park. It's been a fantastic day here in Newport, Oregon, and I also want to thank you for joining me along on this trip and being here with us for our coverage of Henley baseball. Without you watching, I'm just some guy talking to himself in a room all by myself. So appreciate you tuning in today as Henley defeats Newport 2-0. Our next broadcast will be Tuesday, June 3rd in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union for a semifinal. But until then, my name is Josh Eldridge saying so long and good night from Newport, Oregon.